How can you generate a Spring Boot project using Spring Initializer? We will search for a Spring Boot Initializer, and then we will travel into the Spring Boot Initializer interface. Here is a web-based initializer. Let's make it a bit bigger, and let's get familiar with the interface together. First of all, you would like to know about the project area. The project area is especially for the dependency management. For the dependency management, which we are using here in the project area, you can see that we have Gradle, Groovy, we have Gradle, and we have Maven. So you choose the dependency management based on your project requirements, your team, or whatever what you are going to use. Language is the determination of which language you are using in your project, Java, Kotlin, or Groovy. Spring Boot will show you the Spring Boot version, which is the latest one for the moment, the stable one, 3.3. Maybe it will be different in the future. And then you have the project metadata for your service. You add all the project metadata, and after that you have the dependency step. From the dependency step here, you will choose which dependencies, libraries you would like to use in your project. Now let's get into the generation of our project. First of all, I would like to choose Maven as my dependency management tool. My language, it will be Java, and I keep everything by default so far. Spring Boot, I will choose 3.3 as the latest version. Let's understand the project metadata. Group is the general group of your project. For example, you have a project, and this project will contain several services. So you would like to have a unified group. Let's say that this group is your company. So we will call this group com. For example, and my company, but let's make it smaller, my company. Now that will be the general group for all the services in the future. Let's say that this service, it will be an address service. So we will call it address artifact or address service, and the name, it will be the same. You can make the name even a bit bigger. We will see that in the boom file. And you have a description of your project, what this project is about. We call it address service, for example, for my company. Your company is just a theoretical name. You can add here anything you would like to use. And then you will find the package name, which means that in the future, this project is going to be a service inside a bigger microservice architecture. So we will be just a package as a project in and out. And the packaging system you need to use. If you are going to do, for example, web application, you can keep it jar as it is, because already when you choose a dependency of web, you will have the Tomcat bundled within the service. Or you can change and use, for example, Jetty or whatever. Or you can use it war if in case you have your own server that you would like to deploy this service within or inside this service. Java, use the latest version. I'm using 21 at the moment. This address service is going to be a web application. So now it's time for dependencies to choose our dependency. Add dependencies, and you will have all your dependencies listed here. If you know exactly what you want, you can just search for it. We search it for web because this will be a web application. And you have two different dependencies and a lot more, like web is a general one, and Spring Reactive is the other. Spring using web flux and Netty as a server. So we will stick with web, which will make for us a RESTful application going to be used in our service. So we choose web, this dependency at the moment. In the future, I'm going to show you how can you add another libraries or starters for your application. And then we will say generate. Generating is going to generate for us a zip folder called address. We will open it. I have it already before, so that's the reason why it's called address here. So let's just delete this one because already I have it. And at the moment, I would like just to open address using my I would like to open address using my IntelliJ IDEA. So I'm right click on the address project itself and show more option because I'm using Windows 11, and open inside IntelliJ IDEA. Once I open, we will see how it is running. I don't need this folder anymore, so we are waiting. In case that you still using like old IntelliJ, you will have the old interface. In case if you have the new interface and you would like to switch between the new interface and the old interface, or what you need to do is here from settings, and you can switch to classic UI, or you stick with the news interface. For me, I'm going to use the classic UI because I'm a bit old and I like classic stuff. So anyway, let's get into IntelliJ IDEA. And now I have the beautiful old one. Let's try to make it bigger. Okay, so now our project is a bit bigger, and at least you can see using the zoom. Here you have the address, the project itself. Let's get familiar with it. And then you have the idea. It's a folder for the IntelliJ. I'm using it. You have Maven. You can delete this folder like Maven, and all of them you can delete them because you're already having Maven bundled as a plugin in your IntelliJ. You don't need them here. So I'm deleting them. I don't need them at the moment. That will not affect the running state of my application. Just refresh and I'm still having everything as it is. I don't need this Maven wrapper. Okay, my application is ready. From SRC folder under main Java, you will see your class as address application class. Here's the resources folder. We will go into this later, but let's start our application. Now just running the application, run, and application is getting to be built. As you can see, Spring started, Spring Boot, and the version of the boot we used. You can see it down there that already my application started. I have everything is okay. There is no problems. I have already Tomcat. The server started at 8080. If I would like to test my application, it works or not, and I have the context path as just slash. So let's make it a quick test. From here, we will visit localhost, but 80 and then enter. I have this beautiful error page because I don't have any mapping into my application. We are going to add a new classes in the future related to the web application, which we are going to use as a RESTful application. So please stay tuned for the upcoming videos because we will continue from there. See you next time.